Okay. Uh,
Oh shoot.
what happened?
I gotta go to Facebook first. Yeah, I can't.
I think they have a lot to talk about.
Mm-hmm. You do.
Um, ooh, are we on? I'm sorry. Yes, we are. They said they see us.
Funny.
Okay, what's the name of the? Oh shoot.
We're out here. I ain't even on here
Hmm. Okay, we're coming.
yet.
We should be pros at this by now. I'm sorry, but we're not.
That's funny. Hey, I think we out here live. It said we live on Facebook.
Okay,
We
good,
out here.
We out
Hi,
here.
people.
good. Okay, so I'll get this stuff started now.
Mm, 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 mm.
There we go.
Welcome to What We Know Now Wednesdays Myths, Truths, and Solutions About Hair Loss with Dana Wilson, Lori Huckabee, and Tamima Ali, the hair advocates.
Welcome everybody.
Hey, everybody.
It seems like this doing this monthly deal seems like a long, long time, right?
It does,
Yes, it
and
does.
mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. I'm Dana Wilson. I'm the director of Hair Cares Inc. I am a certified trichologist, a Sister Lock master trainer, city certified research assistant, and a newly CPA certified code capper. You have to act
Hey.
sometime, right? I'm also a veteran, and so my personal mission and passion really is to encourage people who experience hair loss or some sort of scalp disorder that they don't have to suffer. You don't have to suffer in silence. That there is treatments out here for you, and we are here to share those treatments with you. So welcome, welcome, welcome again.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. I'm Tamima Ali, also known as Kimra. I am here in Charlotte, North Carolina, and I also am a certified trichologist. And my goal is to help you be your most healthy and beautiful self. So I want to welcome everybody to the show. And also, if you haven't started your watch party, please start your watch party and share this video. There's going to be so much information tonight, so please share this video and yep, start your watch party. Welcome to the show.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thanks for tuning in. My name is Lori Huckabee, and I am a certified trichologist. I'm located in the Hampton Roads area of Virginia. I am also a sister law consultant, hair coach, and city certified biomedical research assistant. And I too am a newly certified CPA code capper, also along with Kimra, and she didn't announce that either, but we all three are.
Yeah.
We all three are. And I'm really passionate about helping people, not only just with their hair hair loss and hair recovery, but also skin conditions that people may be suffering from. Um, and as you heard, we're newly working with uh, cancer clients also. So that's a huge plus for us. Another cap to add to our stock of caps. And we just really like helping people, and we're really invested in making sure that the information that we bring to you is beneficial, helpful, truthful, and factual. So, welcome, thank you, share, and we're going to have a great night.
Go ahead and hit the like button too while you're at
Thank you. We appreciate it.
it. Yes. Hmm.
I was just thinking, our audience may not know what cold capping is. They may not remember us having that
Right,
Uh-huh.
show, right?
right. Our show that we had, um, I want to say maybe back in November,
Was it
Yeah.
October? Yeah, it was like
October, back
October.
in October. So cold capping is when a person is undergoing chemotherapy treatment. This is a method that's used in order for them to save their hair so that their hair doesn't fall out while they're undergoing chemo. So what cold capping does is, what is it, minus 35 degrees
Yes.
minimum or maximum, that you place the cold cap on their scalp, and in 20-minute intervals you change it out during the course of their treatment, and that way it freezes the scalp so that the chemotherapy doesn't get to the follicles, and therefore they could save their hair.
Hmm.
So if you didn't know, there is a possibility to save your hair. Um, so you want to,
Yes,
talk to your doctor's office or call, in particular, Penguin Cold Caps.
Hmm.
yes,
That's who we're partnered with. If
Yes.
you're
yes.
interested in that, or
So,
if you know a family member who is about to go under treatment for cancer or anything like that.
and be adamant about it, because a lot of doctors will say no because it's not widely known or they don't know anything about it. But I'm telling you, it's the real deal. They have just asked the people who have done it, and they kept all of their hair. So it's a real thing. It does work. And if you want to know information about it, like Dana said, contact Penguin Cold Caps.
Yeah. So we're
Mhm.
excited to partner with Cold Caps. Um,
Yes,
so today's show is about the benefits of blood type diet.
yes. You hear us talk about it all the time.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
So today we have our guest, our Jason Greenfield. Um, uh, and Jason is out of the Dallas Fort Worth area. Um, and we also have, and he's going to be talking about the blood type diet, as he has been a devout, let's see, lifestyle changer using the blood type diet. And we also have Addie, who's going to um, be doing a food demonstration for us, because a lot of people say, yeah, I see that list. I don't know what to do with that. Like,
Yeah.
what can I make out of this? And so he's going to help you by giving you some uh, food design tips. Hey guys,
Hey, welcome
Hey,
to
how
the
are you?
show.
Hey, how we doing?
good, good,
Good.
good. So we would like for you to introduce yourselves and tell us a little bit about yourselves. Thank you for joining.
Yes.
All right, all right. I guess I'll start it off. My name is Jason Greenfield. I'm out of the Dallas area. I'm a health and wellness entrepreneur. I execute a business. We're Greenfields Wellness, and we help people achieve their health goals, live better, and clear up some of the confusing and misinformation in the science that's kind of out there.
Hmm.
Awesome.
All right. My name is Adeola Ogundipe. I'm actually the owner of Addy Daddy Seasons and Sauces. Began my journey through dealing with health issues as far as like high blood pressure. And upon doing a lot of research and, trying to make sure that I'm healthy, I just stumbled upon the seasoning aspect of it because that's something I could control. And ended up finding out there's so many nutrients that are in what we put in our food daily. and really wanted to push that out there and share with the people.
Awesome. That's fantastic because we get that all the time as we um, introduce people to the blood type diet, and they've looked at the list according to their blood type, and the question we get the most is, okay, what am I supposed to do with this? I can't have anything. I can't eat nothing. I'm gonna starve and all that kind of stuff. And it's like, no, you just have to have a different mindset, and try some things that you haven't tried. And I always talk about you can flavor the food differently, like with the seasonings that you use and everything like that. I know I have tried it in my household, and man, they love the different foods. It's a change up from the regular that they normally eat all the time, and feel better about it too. So this is awesome. We've been looking for you guys for forever.
Well, it's good to be here. Good to be found.
Good, thank you.
Tell me, in your practice, how did the blood type diet change your, I guess your, I mean, what are some of the results that you got from your clientele?
So, and I'll include myself in that because, I believe you always start with a sample size of one. But the first result is shock. As you mentioned, Lori, just kind of seeing that food list, everyone gravitates to their favorite food that's in the column that they don't want it to be in, and there's no way
Right.
that they're going to be able to do or give up XYZ. And so, as a learning for us in trying to coach people in their wellness journey, it was really understanding that emotional attachment that we have with food and beyond food, just our behaviors in general.
Mhm.
We seek to make our learned behaviors our identity, when in actuality, our brain, our entire lifestyle is much more flexible than that if we can open ourselves up to it.
Right, right.
I guess, Jason, I guess also I'm interested in how did you even introduce the blood type diet?
As you introduced to it.
So, blood type eating, and particularly the book by Dr. Peter Diadamo, I ran across it somewhere in a bookstore, and it's like, oh, okay, another one of those diet books. Didn't think twice about it, kind of noted that there was something called blood type eating. It was actually a client who brought in this book, if you can see that, Cook Right for Your Blood Type. So this is the cookbook component to the blood type eating book. And I was like, oh, this is related to that one book I saw. You dive right in and it's a bunch of food lists, and I knew my blood type. And so I had the same experience as everyone else. Okay, well, what can I eat?
Right.
It was not until, and let me see, that was about summer of 2019. So it was a little while ago that I had exposure to it. I had this book in my presence and started flipping through it, challenging myself whether or not I could embrace it. But it wasn't until earlier this year, actually on Clubhouse, if you or any of your viewers are familiar with Clubhouse, I stumbled into a room where a doctor, her name is Sam Price, Samm Price. She's phenomenal. Dr. Sam Price was speaking about the blood type diet, and she broke it down for me in a way that made more sense. And I couldn't have not heard that. She had a similar story. She's also a blood type O as I am, and before interacting with the blood type diet, she had been a vegetarian, and I was on a journey of meatless eating myself. And I'm listening to this fellow blood type O'er tell her story of having to re-engage meat and how much better she felt.
Mm.
So it really gave me the call to action to embrace it, engage it, be curious, be open, and let's see where this thing goes.
Yeah, that's good that you say that because we encounter a lot of clients who um, are they're really eating wrong for their body,
Hmm.
and therefore they have a lot of issues behind that, and it's hard to get them to change their mindset to say that food has caused me to have is even hair loss, you know. But we try to say your hair is not separate from the rest of your body. So if it can cause heart damage and liver damage, and you can get cancers from the foods that you eat, and that's affecting those areas of your body, then of course it can affect your hair too, because it's all connected. It's not separate. And just getting people to realize that food impacts them in that way is a real challenge. Um, how how easy was it for you to gravitate then to change and say, okay, well, maybe it's not so bad. Let me try it.
For me personally, it wasn't hard. I'm the person that I'm the 2-year-old kid asking why 40 years later. And so if
Hmm.
there's an area to be curious about, something to seek to understand, I'm just going to go in and tinker around and see what comes out. So diet modification is not new to me. I tell my clients, 25 years later, I finally found something that actually makes sense, and it's eating for your blood type.
Hmm. Hmm.
The actual adjustments, if you will, I think my journey was much more typical there. I mentioned the shock. And then there's, okay, well, what am I actually going to eat if I'm removing myself from my typical routine as a type O? And I'm in Texas, and so avocados, not being able to eat avocados was a problem for me. It's like, so what do you mean? I have avocados 5 days a week. I make my own guacamole if I'm not getting it somewhere else in the world. And so with those types of adjustments, also, once you get into the food lists are pretty specific, even down to the spices and the condiments and your sauces. And
Right.
so that became a challenge because for the first time in a long time, I was really focusing on ingredients and not just food groups. And that's
Hmm.
where talking to someone like Addie, whose whole world is ingredients, really helped me to kind of understand and accept that, if garlic, I'll take garlic as another one of those type O indicators, depending on how you stack up. If garlic is not supposed to be in my food selections, or it's best for me to avoid garlic, that's how it's stated, and I see garlic way down here in the list, how adherent should I be to this, or how seriously should I take it? Addie can't answer that question for me. It's really a question: how aggressive do I want to go after my results? How interested am I
Hmm.
in seeing the potential changes if I listen to someone else's advice? And so I turned to Addie. I'm like, hey, Addie, can you make me some seasoning without garlic? Because I don't know how to flavor my food now.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And then, when we go into it, kind of like he's talking about with the ingredients, I think we're not all equipped to be able to read some of those labels and really dig into the ingredients that we are putting into our bodies. And upon getting onto this podcast, I did a little bit of research about hair loss, and I even had some questions for you guys because a lot of the stuff that I was seeing was iron deficiencies, all the different vitamins that you need. And one of the things that the research kind of mentioned, and I kind of wanted to get y'all's thought on it, was having too much of it. Can you guys enlighten us about that?
So
Yeah.
like a vitamin like vitamin A would be one of those that if you have too much of it, you can actually have the opposite effect of hair loss. So you just need to have just the right amount of it. Um, Also, on the low end, people that are vitamin D deficient also struggle with hair growth, because D is a vitamin that's needed to help keep the follicle in the growth cycle as well. So vitamins play a vital role, and it's not just one particular vitamin, because I know with marketing and everything, we always hear about biotin. Oh, just take some biotin for hair growth. Well, no, not necessarily. Biotin is not the only vitamin needed for hair growth. And in fact, the FDA and some other countries as well have listed that, taking too much biotin also can give you false negatives and false positives on blood tests. And there's no one really out here that's
Hmm.
deficient in biotin.
Unless they're an
Interesting.
infant and
Yeah.
they're born that
Right.
way, born with a deficiency. But adults
Mhm.
usually don't have biotin deficiencies. So everybody is on the biotin kick And I
Yeah.
think it's more because of marketing.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's good for you, but that's something that um, if you were deficient in that, you would have knew that early on in your life, not
Hmm.
later.
Yeah.
So um,
So,
yeah,
Dana, you asked a question earlier about results, and I want to pick up that again because I talked about initially kind of my experience, but what we're seeing with our clients is one, an emotional release, just finally having a peace of mind about food. When you start on the blood type eating program, it's first of all, it's not a diet, and I think that's something that people need to understand. It's not something you're going to do for a short term and see if you get results. It's a lifestyle, but also in it not being a diet, it's not restrictive in the way that diets are restrictive. It's really just giving you advice on what foods are really great for your body, what foods your body treats as medicine and help to enhance your body and your metabolic processes, what foods your body treats as simply food, just caloric intake with its own vitamin and nutritional attributes that you can read on the back of the labels, and what foods your body takes as poison, which is something we should all be aware of. What foods actually hurt me? And
right.
then you still have free will to make your choices. I follow Dr. Sam again on Clubhouse, and I asked her a question about gluten-free gluten-free lemon cake. All right, so as a type O, the big avoid, if a type O can do one thing and do one thing right, it's avoid the grains, avoid the wheats, which was a challenge for me. But if you're going to have the wheat, then gluten-free is the better option. And I asked her about a lemon cake at a coffee shop, and she said, by all means, if it's going to be emotionally destructive to you to not have the lemon cake, have the lemon cake. And I think that's an important concept when you're talking about food modification and dieting. We exist in this culture where, particularly due to the marketing, food choices are presented as do or die. And what we really should be seeking is just awareness. Like, it's your health and well-being has to do more with more than just your food.
Right.
And so if the lemon cake was going to keep me up at night, then I should have the lemon cake. And that extends to whatever that item is for whomever the person is. The bigger thing is, as you're moving through your life, you're able to manage yourself better because you have the awareness of how to make safe choices.
Yes, that's very important. That's very important. And just to kind of piggyback off of Jason, I look at this whole thing. I'm in the entering stages of the blood type diet. He's kind of pulled me along because I'm a curious guy like that, and anything that I can see that's going to benefit me in the future, I'm definitely willing to do some research and jump right on. And him and I were talking. He pings me into the clubhouse room, and I'm listening to the blood type diet, and I turn over to my wife, and I just made, I think, what was it? Red beans and rice, right? And she's like, "Oh, I'm gassy and I'm doing this." And he brings it up. So I immediately ask, I pull up the app and start looking at all the things to avoid. And I'm like, "Wait, does your stomach always hurt like this whenever you have, kidney beans?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "It's on a list for you not to have." And
Right.
from there, I now know the awareness of like what I'm feeding my family and saying, all right, you know what? I'm gonna take this off the list of the things that that I cook with. Now you don't have to be bloated and feeling all gassy and stuff like that. So, it's just it's amazing the type of information that's out there that can really give us a great lifestyle. And we just have to make the choice to choose it.
Right. Yes, exactly.
So I actually have another question. If uh,
Yes.
if if you could educate us on the connection between inflammation in the body and hair loss.
Mm, okay. Inflammation is what people will, when we examine people, we use a dermoscope and we look, and sometimes you can see inflammation and sometimes you can't on the scalp. Inflammation is what really pushes the hair out. The hair is going to go through a cycling anyway, cycling phase. but it's the inflammation that plays a big part in whether that follicle kind of stays alive or not. Because if it's too much inflammation, it could cause scarring and kill off like the cells in the follicle, diminish the sebaceous gland, and once that's those two things are gone, there is no more hair growth. So once that hair sheds, like in its regular cycle phase, and if there's too much inflammation in the follicle, then it could cause scarring. So like basically the follicle just shrivels up and dies. So inflammation is huge. So when people come in and they have issues like joint, like a lot of joint pain or pain at all, that's inflammation in the body, throughout the body.
Oh yeah.
So more than likely, they're going to have inflammation in their scalp too,
Hmm.
especially if they have hair loss. It's inflammation, and it's not like I said, the body is a whole thing. So you can't just address the inflammation on the scalp and they never make any changes. If they never make any dietary changes, that means they're still eating inflammatory foods or consuming inflammatory things. So that inflammation is going to stay there. So you could tap dance on this head all day long. It's not going to help. So
Yeah.
you have to make those changes. Yeah, you have to get rid of the inflammation in the body to get rid of the inflammation in the scalp.
And some
Okay.
people, the inflammation manifests as their scalp actually feeling like it's burning, and then
Mm-hmm.
for some people, it manifests as an itching. Like my scalp is always itching. That's an
Mm-hmm.
indicator too that it might be inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Interesting.
See, so there's the connection between eating for your blood type and doing what you can do to protect your hair and stave off hair loss.
Yes.
Because when you're eating foods from that avoid column,
Mm-hmm.
what it's saying is those foods cause your body to have an inflammatory response.
Yes.
And that inflammatory response can manifest in a number of ways in different parts of the body. That research is yet to be done. We wish we were at a point where we could say, okay, if you eat this, you're going to have that. I know that I have a wheat allergy and that runs in my family. And when I have a lot of wheat, I turn into a 16-year-old again. Like everything just starts breaking out. And when I
Yes.
stave off of the wheat,
Mm-hmm.
I start to clear up. It's that responsive. And that's one ingredient of hundreds on the foods that I should avoid. So
Right.
I was imagining, and thank you for that confirmation, ladies, that the same is there with our hair care. This inflammatory response is going to wreak havoc and it can manifest in a number of ways in the health of our scalp. And you as professionals, you can see it.
Yeah.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
I had a client. I
Yeah.
think he's a O, and I know on O corn you're supposed to avoid corn,
Hmm.
and she had a scalp disorder, so her scalp would flake up and itch, and right after she would shampoo, right,
Mm-hmm.
and she let that corn go. Now it did flake and itch, but it was, it could go a week or two before it started itching. But that corn was definitely irritant
Mm-hmm.
to her scalp for sure. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah,
And
that's
and
fascinating.
another thing that we've kind of found out too. Sometimes we have clients do food sensitivity tests,
yeah.
and the food sensitivity test is, oh my gosh, it's almost like 95% accurate with their blood type as far as what they should avoid.
Yeah.
It will come up on a food sensitivity test. So it's
Yep.
either um, the food sensitivity test. Now you get to do the blood type book, um, but the other part of that is if you've been eating wrong, say wrong for so long that your body will develop sensitivities to a lot of things,
Yeah.
even the things that are on your beneficial list, right?
Hmm.
Because, but that's because you're so toxic already. So it's kind of like in disarray. It doesn't know what to take in as good, and people think that you could just start eating, or every now and then eat something good, but the rest of the plate has everything bad on it.
Right.
So that everything bad is going to overpower the one good thing that you had, and your body is already toxic anyway, so it's that one good thing is not even going to make a dent in it. But we have been seeing that the food sensitivity test is really, really accurate against somebody's blood type.
But I
Mhm.
can attest
And
to that. I can totally
yeah.
attest to test
Yeah.
myself because I wanted to be able to see for myself. And surely the things that were on my avoid list was definitely on my food sensitivity list.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Absolutely.
important.
Mhm. Oh, go
Oh,
ahead.
I was going to say that's important to note as well, because a lot of people will start to do their own research and they'll start following nutritionists, and you'll hear things like the food sensitivity testing. You hear
Mm-hmm.
things like common allergen testing, and then there's the blood type research and information from Dr. Peter Diadamo. And it's important to note that those are three different things. It's
Right.
really just three different lenses of looking at the same picture, you, and what substances your body's going to interact well with versus not interact well. And it's not that one necessarily trumps the other. I think the amazing thing to take note of is that the corollaries are there.
Mhm.
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
and I've
Um.
seen it
Go ahead.
also with a client who also took a food sensitivity test, but chose not to follow it and was
Mhm.
still eating the wrong thing. So when she came into me, and of course we did the blood typing, she's a type O. So, you know, we do still have a nice healthy list that we can work from to eat. But then with her sensitivity test, it really limited her. She was sensitive to almost everything out here. So
Mm-hmm.
she might have had like a handful of items that she can eat. And she was dealing with alopecia areata, which is where you have like a circle patch and it's clean, no hair. But her circle patch was a little bit larger than like a quarter size. I would say it might have been about as large as at this point, like a dollar bill in
Mm-hmm.
length. And this was going on for more than a year. And typically with alopecia areata, the textbook says that the hair should start to grow back within about 3 months or so. But she's been dealing with this for a little over 12 months. So when she came in and she brought all her paperwork in and we looked over the food sensitivity test, and I had to let her know, like, you're going to have to stick to this. Like, this is it. Like, this is serious. You want that hair back, which was the motivation for her to go ahead and start following what's on that food sensitivity, to the foods to stay away from, finding the things on her beneficial list that's going to work like medicine for her body, and
Mm-hmm.
stick to eating just those things. I didn't even want her eating anything in the neutral. Like, I just want you to do the stuff that was going to be medicine for you. And then within about 4 months, that hair started to grow in. And so that's the motivation to help keep her going on this journey so that she can have that regrowth that she's supposed to have. So that
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to follow, especially to get the results that you want. Follow
Yeah.
the blood type diet. Be what's the word I'm looking for?
Intentional.
I don't want you. Yeah, yes. I don't want you to stray away, from what's on the list. And if you
Yeah.
have taken a food sensitivity test, stick to those, because once you start sticking to the foods, or staying away from the foods that's on your food sensitivity test, and you get retested, a couple months down the road, you'll find that list will change. It may even become less. And so then you'll be able to eat those foods again. But for a short period of time, you may need to avoid those foods on the food sensitivity test.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So another part of my journey, so we started out with the shock and then the emotional relief, just kind of feeling like you've got something here. I think the third phase that I entered into, and it took a couple weeks, was just this amazing adventure with food. And I've never been a big cook. I've always kind of viewed food as fuel, and I'll just throw a whole bunch of stuff in a pot or a bowl, and there we have it. But really being intentional, thank you, Hattie, being intentional about using these food lists, and when wanting to not just lose food items, but learn where I can substitute items. it's like I usually cook on the weekend. So every weekend is just another adventure. What am I going to cook this weekend? This time, for me, the pain point first was, well, actually it was the avocados. And in about 10 to 12 days, I didn't care about avocados. I didn't have a taste for avocados. I hadn't thought about avocados. So that was all in my mind. And I think that's important for people to know. There are a lot of things that are just in your mind. But
Right.
the big thing for me was not having those bready, starchy, textured foods. And so where am I going to, how am I going to have pancakes? There's a question. How am I going to have pancakes on Saturday morning? My mother-in-law loves my pancakes. My wife likes my pancakes. So I'm making pancakes for everybody else, but I can't have pancakes. Like that was a problem. And so I discovered almond flour and almond flour pancake recipes. And then I was making almond flour waffles and almond flour everything. And I think the more recent one this past weekend, it was red lentil tortillas. So I'm in Texas again. I'm not a native Texan, moved here from Nashville, Tennessee, but
You've been here long enough.
Been here long enough. If you've never had a breakfast taco or breakfast tortilla, you're missing out. It's a Texas thing. But how am I going to have my breakfast taco if I can't have the wheat or the corn tortillas? Red lentil tortillas, one ingredient, red lentils and water. And so it feels like it's empowering. It's like, okay, I was a little bit intimidated by this, but let's try it. Wow, it kind of feels good to have some information that's now backing my food choices. And now I just want to show off. I'm ready to start taking pictures of everything I'm cooking in the kitchen and how healthy I'm eating. And, I made my almond flour cookies. And so you can have your favorite things reinserted into your life just in a manner that's guilt-free if you're willing to just endeavor, be adventurous, be curious, give yourself that opportunity to learn again and find your happier you. Because at the same time where I'm feeling, this sense of knowing and understanding, I'm also feeling better. I also have tremendous energy. And what I do with that energy is now up to me. There's so fewer hurdles and barriers in my day from a physiological standpoint. And they're really minor things that you may not, I may not have noticed or noted before, but it's just like a lack of aches or pains or grunts or groans, or if I'm engaging in a physical activity, I'm recovering a lot faster. So I spend a lot less time, having downtime or trying to figure out why this doesn't operate like it used to 20 years ago. I mean, it's a lifestyle upgrade. It really is.
Yes.
It is. And I think
I know.
to your, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
To your point, I think oftentimes we forget that cooking is an art form, and art to me, as I get older, is really what you make it to be, right? So you can experiment with so many different ingredients and just learn different techniques to where you can bring the best out of those ingredients. And that's something that I found on my journey, to where I'm looking at, different seasonings and saying, hey, what are the benefits of these seasonings, right? And how can I take that and put it into what I'm eating? Because that's something that I can control. And I take advantage of every opportunity of things that I can control and try to make it be great for me. And I just think, the more that we put it out there that cooking is an art and it's for you. And, my wife, she's an artist, and she's like, I don't like anybody critiquing my work. Well, you know what? It's your work. And as long as you love it, that's all that matters. So if you're loving the food that you're making and that you're providing for you and your family, and it's great for you guys, got to do it.
So, Addie, how did you decide I want to do seasonings and sauces? I'm a big sauce girl. I love sauces. I mean, I could do a basic protein and you put that sauce on there and that changes the game, right?
That is true.
To get into seasoning and sauces.
Well, just so I've been cooking since I was 12, and recently I just discovered why I even like cooking. A lot of my life experiences that my father passed on to me was in the kitchen. whether we're at the kitchen table or he was showing me how to make something. So I've always enjoyed cooking. And in 2012, I went to get a checkup. My wife kind of pushed me to go do that. Us guys, we don't like doing that. So, I'm in there and they're like, your blood pressure is high. And I'm like, blood pressure is high. But I was going to the gym all the time and I cooked a lot more and I cut out all the McDonald's and stuff like that. And it really just kind of pushed me to the edge of like, all right, I don't want to die early. So how can I start watching my intake of salt? And, typically the first thing they recommend to you is the Mediterranean diet, right? And whenever I started doing that and was buying some of the different things and the recipes, I found it saltier than what I was eating previously. So it made me kind of just start searching, all right, what's the best thing for me to be able to have? So I went the Mrs. Dash route and it was very boring. It was very boring and it didn't make me want to eat my vegetables like I need to because with high blood pressure, you need to put in a lot more fiber into your system, which means eating more vegetables. And to be honest, Black folks don't like vegetables like that. Unless you're making greens, we're not eating vegetables, right? So
I'm from the South. If it's cooked with meat,
I'm a big vegetable person, but growing up, we didn't, it was basic. It was green beans and collard greens.
Exactly.
If it's cooked with the right meat.
Right. And it got to be cooked with the right meat, that's for sure. But, getting older, I enjoy all kinds of vegetables. But it is about the seasoning.
Yes,
really
it is
about the seasoning.
And it's essentially how I got into it. And then I also realized some of the things that we were buying, necessarily we didn't have to put all those preservatives into our bodies.
Okay.
And then finding, different little things, like, you get some seasonings that say dextrose, right? That's just sugar. That's another name for it. Maltodextrin, which is made from like corn. It's another word for sugar. And if you're diabetic or anything like that, and you don't understand those labels, you're just spiking your blood sugars when you're thinking that you're, it's just seasoning. But it's very important to, the choices that we make to make sure, hey, these are the herbs that I'm looking to get. And I want to put that into my body. What are the best mixtures that makes me want to eat, vegetables? And that's what I've been able to find with the seasonings and then the sauces, vinegar. A lot of them are really heavy in vinegar. And we know vinegars, our body's already acidic anyway. So we're adding more to it. So I wanted to get away. I still do have some vinegar in my product, but just not as much as what some of the hot sauce people have. And then down the line, I'm also, just kind of looking at, even going on this journey, what are some of the things that I'm learning that I can incorporate that most people are just going to get, in general, and not know that they're feeding their bodies with good stuff.
So is the plan to make sauces based on the blood type as well?
Jason's been pushing me. He's been pushing me. I think it's something that will.
Thank you, Nathan.
Okay, we're gonna push you too.
That would be so huge if you could make this sauce for A and this sauce for O. That would be so huge.
We're working on it.
Okay, good. Yeah, because like I said, that's.
Yeah, I can volunteer myself as a guinea pig. You can send me some samples.
Okay, I got you.
See, we got 3 more test kitchens right here.
Yeah, I want to.
Ingredients.
I want to say, I think, are we all the same?
I'm A.
Oh.
Okay, yeah, Kimmy's O, Dana and I are both A's.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm an O.
I believe I'm an A too.
And he's an A.
Okay.
So interestingly, when you dig into the research of where the blood type eating programs came from, our blood types developed along ancestral lines.
Right.
And so of African descent is going to be predominantly O.
Oh. Mm-hmm.
And then you will find next to O, you'll find a lot of A. So I'm an O, my wife is an A, and I think just about every Black person I know is either an O or an A so far as I've been having these conversations.
Yes.
Yeah. So that's interesting that we have that grouping even on this call.
I know, isn't that?
Can you imagine Addie really making those sauces. No, I'm serious. Let me just paint a picture for you, right?
Okay.
That's almost like liquid gold for someone's blood type, right? That is huge.
I'm working on them. So true story, true story. I'm embarking upon this journey, and I have my favorite Addy Daddy seasonings in my cabinet.
Uh-huh.
And so now I'm being vigilant about reading my labels. I turn the label over, and the Cajun seasoning. I was like, oh no, not the Cajun seasoning. So I put that one in the back. And then I turn the label over on the Addy Daddy everything. And if you haven't had the everything, it's everything. Okay. So, and my wife loves the everything. So everything goes in a lot of our different foods that we cook. And it's like, oh no, the everything. Okay, it's got something on my avoid list. So I put that one in the back of the cabinet. And so I think the honey chipotle was the only one that made it out of the three that I had as my go-tos in my cabinet. And that's where the call came. Okay, Addy, here's an opportunity for you. There's a population of us out there who love flavorful food, who could really use a seasoning that presents us with a healthy path without losing the flavor, but also addresses our blood type. So now it's not just me. Thank you, Dana, for joining in this call. It's gonna happen.
Okay, good.
Oh, we have Miss Connie here. Is Miss Connie joining us?
I see her name up here. Yeah.
Miss Connie.
Actually we have three other people too in the panel, Barbara, Diana, and Renee.
Mm-hmm.
Do you guys have any questions?
Well, the reason why I called out Miss Connie, well, one, she's showing up here, but Miss Connie is the director of NTTI, it's the National Trichology Training Institute in Georgia. And we're all graduates of her program. And the fundamentals of her program is all about blood type.
Wow.
This is
Look at that. That's Dr. Scott.
Hey, Dr. Scott.
And let me just tell you, my Zoom may come across as kind of judge.
Okay.
I it in, so don't mind me.
Okay. Hi, Dr. Scott. Dr. Scott is our resident nutritionist, and she helps educate people about food in the sense of what it's doing to you when you're eating it. Like it's helping for circulation, it's clearing up the arteries, that type of thing. That's how Dr. Scott talks about the different types of food.
Nice. Hi, Dr. Scott.
Well, Addie, where is these seasonings and spices at? I mean, where are
They're at addydaddyseasoning.com.
Okay.
Even if you just go on Google and you put Addy Daddy Seasoning, I'm the only one to pop up.
Okay, cool. And we're gonna have Jason and Addie's information on our page too after the show. So if you don't get it, don't worry. We'll have that information so everybody can be able to look you guys up. Perfect. I'm sure they're gonna have a ton of questions for you. And you guys do a program or have something where you help people with meal plans. Is that right?
So what we do a full spectrum holistic wellness coaching, if you will. So it's not just about your eating. It's an assessment of how you're eating. How are you sleeping? In what ways are you intentionally detoxifying the body? What's your exercise, stretching routine look like? Taking into account everything that you could be managing or should be managing as it affects your physical health. Eating is part of it. We have some clients who want to focus on the eating, and our goal is really just to walk beside them along their journey to better health.
That's interesting. So walk me through, Jason. So I show up to your place of business and we have a consultation. Is that how we start?
Yes. So everyone starts with an initial consultation. It's introductory to our services, the tools we use, the coaching methods that we use, and we get a sense of what's going on in their world, where their health challenges are, and what their priorities are. Then we will build a custom program to those priorities. It's going to include some level of circulation therapy. We use some methods and devices that specifically promote circulation health. And we also educate on circulation as a foundation for all of our body's function. So if we're going to start to get you into a better place, let's start from the inside out. And then we build the coaching program on top of that. We structure everything into 2-month segments, really just one, challenging people to commit to their results, but also not overwhelming folks with maybe a year or a multi-year commitment. We don't like to have long-term clients, if that makes sense. If we do what we're supposed to do in 2 months, you should be well equipped to now take control of your life and move forward. And we're always here to help. One thing to note, we currently operate locally here in the Dallas area. We haven't launched our virtual coaching platform yet. That'll be coming soon in May. So for anyone that wants to get in contact with us, they can contact us through our website and just let us know they're interested in having a consultation or exploring the virtual coaching program. And we'll do the follow-ups and be able to line people up for our May launch.
Oh, awesome. You muted, Dana.
Yeah.
I know.
Okay. Okay. Oh, okay.
Well, this is neat. So I got a question. With the clients that you're working with now, what percentage have you implemented the blood type eating or the blood type thinking?
We do
Everybody.
that. We do that.
Everybody. Okay.
Everyone.
Yeah.
We do it with everyone. But like you say, people have free will.
Yeah.
Sure.
So sometimes their free will say, no, I can't, I have to have, like you said, I have to have lemon cake or I have to have that coffee when they shouldn't drink the coffee because it's on their avoid list. And they just like, I can't, I can't not do it. And it's like, okay, well, it's kind of like Kimmy spoke about earlier, though. You want to see results. If you keep doing the same thing, you're not going to see the results. You have to do something different, not only for hair growth, but for overall wellness for your body. You have to make some changes because although they come to us because they have hair loss, we also look at their lab work, right? And trust me, the hair loss is the result of what's going on internally. So if your blood pressure is high, your cholesterol levels are high, your hormones are, either too high, too low, vitamin D usually is tanked.
Yeah.
It shows absorption issues. It tells us all the deficiencies that you may be experiencing. So we're not telling you to change your diet. And we always tell them, like you spoke about, it's not a diet that you're going to do for a couple of months. It's a lifestyle change that you need to make. And this lifestyle change is going to help you prolong your life. Because what the BCA shows us is that if the doctor hasn't told you already, this is the path that you're on. So if they may not say that you have heart trouble or cardiovascular issues or that you have liver issues or things like that, but if they haven't told you that, you're on that pathway. And so that could show up next month, next year, or 2 or 3 years down the road. But that's the pathway that you're headed on. So we try to encourage people, you need to do this not only to get hair back, but for your overall wellness. And as a benefit, you may grow your hair back. It may solve your scalp issue that you have. But if you continue to do the same thing, don't expect anything different.
So a lot of people come in, they think it's the product that they're using.
Yeah.
What product, what shampoo and conditioner you have, I can, to make my hair grow back, and that's not it. We have to look internally. It is. I mean, it's not to say that some shampoos and conditioners don't help, cleanse the scalp and things of that nature, but it really is the internal work that needs to be done. So we just help them do process of elimination, or just try to get to the root cause of what it may be by looking at that blood work and things like that.
Interesting. I have a question as well. Do you guys tend to get women after they've had kids
Yes.
that during, okay.
Mhm.
What is the main cause of that for them? Is it the hormones like you described or?
Just
It's
the
the hormones.
hormones
Yeah.
out of whack.
Yeah.
And typically, when after they've had the baby and it's been a little while, the body will, get back into balance. But yeah, that is a common occurrence where people would come in. During pregnancy they would lose their hair. Some people during pregnancy their hair grow really really fast and a lot.
Mhm.
Um, I've had that on several occasions where I've had pregnant women come in, they lose their hair, and after having a baby, after about 6 months, then their body gets back in balance. Their hair come right back, no problem.
So what happens if it's taking longer than that then? Where it
Longer.
just looks thin,
Yeah,
but it's not gone.
I was gonna say too. Now, sometimes what happens is, yeah, what started out as hormonal, uh, just help manifest. Because you can have people that have more than one condition going on. So it started out as hormonal because the hormones did change and all that. But now, like Dana said, it's been 6 months. Um, it hasn't gotten any better. It can, or it just stayed. The baby's 3 years old now, and they still have signs of hair loss. Or so now that's still probably hormonal, but it's something else too. That's why the diet change is so important, because diet affects hormones also.
Mhm.
Like nothing internally is exempt from what you put in your body. It's like a domino effect. If once something becomes dysfunctional, the rest will surely follow thereafter. Um, so food does affect hormones too. So if that diet change is still important for you to make, you cannot do the same thing and expect some differences. You have to make
Right.
changes. There's
'Cause
no
it,
getting around. There's
the
no getting
hormones,
around it. A process is a process.
it
Mhm.
could be that the hormones is back in balance, but they have a vitamin deficiency.
Yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
right.
Right.
Well, I'm inspired by the three of you in that this blood type eating as a lifestyle is a cornerstone, a pillar of your practice, because again, 25 years of seeking answers with how to eat to be better, more optimal, or to not be sick or sick in ways that I've seen people in my own family or around me
Right.
fall and succumb to. This makes the most sense. It has I'd say, a pretty clean scientific picture behind it, even though if you're, and I say this because everyone's going to do their own research and you'll run into some folks
Mm-hmm.
who completely tear down blood type eating.
Mhm.
Dr. Diadamo, he says in his own book that the peer-reviewed scientific research is just not there yet. This is not something where you're going to see 20 years of journals on, and there are reasons for that. But if you really examine what's going on with this and you try it out, do that exploration, you will be pleased. It's not a magic bullet.
No.
Eating is just one aspect of self-care. And that's really what my practice is built around. Self-care is the most important form of healthcare.
Mhm.
So it's not a magic bullet. And even Dr. Diadamo himself, he's gone deeper into his own research to then come with the follow-up to the blood type eating is the genotype eating, which
Mm-hmm.
takes more biological factors into effect. And actually, that's what I do. I'm on the genotypic program, which is much more specific than the blood type program. Blood type, get these books, family.
Yeah.
These books will save your life. And I challenge people for a $4 investment. You can go into your app store on whichever platform you're on and download the blood type app. And
Yeah.
for $4, you can put in your blood type once you know what your blood type is, and you'll see those food lists. There's just enough of the research in the background there to get you kind of intrigued and get your foot in the water and just
Mm-hmm.
start. Just start.
Yeah.
Challenge yourself not to change your diet, but to live by your values. And if you
Mm-hmm.
can live into your values it'll make more sense. Oh, what you got there? What you
Yeah,
got
on those
there?
books. Yep.
See,
So as they come in
give,
for consultations, we give out that
yeah,
book
Oh,
depending on their blood
Nice.
type. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we also know how to do blood type. So blood
Yeah.
type testing. So if people don't know what their blood type is,
Mhm.
we can do the blood type right there in the clinic and
Mhm.
let them know right away what it is, and then they get this book
Yeah.
with it, so they can
Yeah.
start today. Like it's
Mhm.
nothing that you gotta wait for. It's like, here, this is when you leave me and you're going to eat lunch, whatever your blood type says, that's that's what you should be getting.
Mhm.
I know
So
that
you
And
can
app
it's
start right away.
where it actually creates a shopping list for you and everything.
mm,
Good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had a client download it today. I'm standing there looking over his shoulder. It's like, this is the app. Okay. Found that one.
Yes.
It's like, huh, okay. And so
Mm-hmm.
his journey
Mm-hmm.
began today. And I appreciate you for having this platform, this conversation, because I think that's what it's about. It's about us sharing with those who may trust our voice so that they can take those steps that we've taken to live a better life and be more productive, be more fruitful.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I'm so glad that you guys invited us on here, because now I can point people into y'all's direction instead of just men. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or
Yeah.
was that regrow? What's the other one
Oh,
that helps you grow your hair?
oh yeah.
Those chemicals,
Yeah.
we can throw those to the side and have some
Yes.
knowledgeable people tell us
Yes.
how to get our hair and how to keep it. That's what I'm
Yes.
concerned about. I still have a full head
Yes.
right
That's
now.
what you
Thank
want to keep.
God.
You want
I
to
want
keep.
to keep it.
Yes. You want to
Right.
keep it. Okay. Yes.
And
Well,
I've
I
got
tell
some
you
clients
what.
I need to send your way because this hair loss is something that's bothering
It's
a
it's
couple of my folks and they're guys. And
Oh,
it's
Mhm.
interesting I guess the emotional weight of not being able to manage that aspect of your physical appearance.
right.
Mhm.
Right. Yeah. It can be very emotional for men and women,
Yeah.
because some guys, especially take a young guy,
Mhm.
he's not ready. I mean, not everybody is ready or even willing or want to do the bald look. This is
Mm-hmm.
not for everybody. Just like some women, yeah, they look great with a bald head, but is that the preferred look that they want? Not typically, no. And when you have control over whether you cut your hair that low, that's the thing. It's like you said, having control
Control.
over, do I want to look like that?
the
Um,
also you wanna seek treatment sooner than later.
early, yes.
I mean, because
Time
soon
equal
as you see
follicles.
a
Okay.
change, I mean, you may not be able to articulate it. You may not even be able to articulate what's going on, but as soon as you see a difference in change, maybe in density, is the right time to seek treatment. Because, like
Mhm.
Lori explained earlier, once the blood sources disattach itself from that follicle and it starts scarring, it's nothing you can do. You can change
Mhm.
the
Yeah,
diet and everything else, but once it's scarred, it's done. But
Mm.
if
yeah.
it's
Like you can't.
dying, then that's different.
Yes,
To be
yes,
rejuvenated or
yes. As long as there's life still there and that follicle still exists, even if you don't see, like you can't see it,
right.
right? But we can tell if there's life there,
Yeah,
and
because it could be dormant. It could just
it
be
could just be dormant.
yeah.
It's
Mhm.
trapped in the cycle. Like it hasn't gone back into the anagen phase to where it's actually growing hair. It's maybe stuck in between catechin and telogen, or telogen and going
Mhm.
back to the anagen phase. So it's stuck. Just because you can't see it doesn't necessarily mean it's not a viable follicle.
Right.
Right.
So sometimes, I mean, we've had clients, I think all of us have had clients where when they came, it was like it looked like no hope was there.
Right.
Um, if we made the changes and they were diligent and compliant and consistent,
Mm-hmm.
within a matter of months, all that looked like nothing. I mean, now you have fuzz or you actually have hair.
Mhm.
So it is possible. Um,
Mhm.
it's possible for it to come back. You just have to act fast. You can't say, you see it today and then it looks like it's thinning, and then you wait 2, 3 more years before you want to act. Trust me, I've taken pictures, and what they had 2 or 3 years ago, they don't have half of that now.
Hmm.
So that means they waited to
Wow.
be able to do something, or they sought other treatment that didn't work.
Mhm.
And like Dana just said, it's more than shampoos and dab something on your scalp. It's what you see on the outside is a reflection of what's happening on the inside. Just like if you don't take care of yourself and you wait, this pain that you were having every so often has now turned into something major. And that
Mhm.
major could either put you in the hospital or cause you to lose an organ or have to have surgery for something, because you waited. So
Mhm.
you don't wait. This your body gives you signs and signals. Hair loss is one of them to tell you that hey, something is amiss. It may start out slowly. It may start out as your hair just breaking off or something, but it's giving you a sign. Your skin will give you a sign. It'll break out in rashes, hives, something. It's trying to tell you something. You get a fever, your body gives you signals. You just have to acknowledge the signal and then act on it.
Mhm. Time equal follicles.
But thank you
Nice.
so much. Thank you. Well, we all offer virtual services, so we can help people wherever they are. So
Wonderful.
Awesome.
yeah.
Mhm.
Well, listen, you guys, we always ask our guests. Our show is called What We Know Now. So we always ask our guests, what do you know now
Mhm.
about hair loss, or it can be even hair growth? What do you know now?
Oh, see, I was gonna take the easy way out and say time equals follicles. Yeah, I'll say this. I know now that, particularly when it pertains to our eating or our diet, that there's a balance, that our body should be in balance so that we're not having an overactivity or an underactivity within our scalp and our hair follicle system. And so I thank you for that. And it's something that I'll take into my clients and my practice as I continue forward.
Good, good, good.
So for me, I knew absolutely nothing about hair and food. I never really put those two things together. And now it just kind of enlightened me just a little bit, just to kind of say, all right, I'm the guy that's saying, hey, I still have my hair, because we typically, when we, from what I know and what some of my other friends know, oh, you get, if you're bald, it's on your mother's side, that type of thing. Not understanding that there's some science behind it, and it's just not hereditary like we say everything is. So
Right.
it just kind of just brings everything back in circle when we start talking about the diets and really understanding that the choices we make now is what is hereditary, not,
Right.
oh, if my family members had it, well, what were the choices they were making in order to
Yeah.
get it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So I don't believe in generational curses. I believe, all of those things are habits that we've somehow picked up, and now we're living those habits. So definitely, I love what I heard today, and we've been putting some more stuff into practice and really paying attention to how I'm eating even better now, because I want to keep my hair.
Right. Right.
I was hoping you said, Addie, that what I know now is that I got to get back in that lab.
He's
And
already,
I
get my sausage and seasonings together.
Yep.
Dana,
was hoping you were gonna
he
say,
sent me a message at 5:30 this morning asking me to get to work.
Yeah. We need some type O and some type A.
Okay.
I'm
Good.
telling you, I would put it on my shelf. I promise you, I would put it on my shelf.
Okay, I'll tell you
If
what, I'll make something special for you.
Okay.
Oh wow, that's three, right?
Three.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
I want to pull out something Addie said, and Lori, I saw you clapping, but it's so important for all people, but I'll say our people to hear and understand everything that's hereditary is not genetic.
Correct. Correct.
Mhm.
Everything
Correct.
that we see happening in our lives that we may have expected or we explain it away as it happened in this generation or my uncle, my grandfather, my father, hereditary in the fact that it's being passed down, but not genetic in the fact that it was predetermined for it to happen to you. You have the opportunity to choose.
Yes,
Mhm.
that is exactly correct. Because
Right.
just we always tell people like uh say diabetes runs in the family.
Runs
Well,
in
guess
mine.
what? You can be that one person that don't have it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Runs in my family, but not in my
Just by the
house.
if you just make
Yeah.
different choices because everybody else had it because they all did the same thing. If you do something different, then that can be your out so that you don't have to have it. I mean, and that's where the line is really fine about, because you'll hear, like you said, there's not a lot of research out there about this at all. So when people hear it, we tell them about it, they want evidence. I need proof that this works. Okay, well, for one, which is a different topic, but for one, science happens or research happens because they have people who participate in the research. Okay, you can't have research, you can't have facts if you are not willing to be part
Mhm.
of this information gathering, which research is. It's information gathering. You're the test subject, and we're doing X, Y, and Z to get results, and we're documenting those results. That's research. That's scientific proof. Okay, so it can't happen if nobody's willing. So people out there, you want proof about the blood type diet and lifestyle change. If it works, well then do it,
Yep. Do your
and
own study.
you will
Sample size of
you will
one.
be the voice
Mhm.
to be able to say this works because you did it. Okay, so the generational thing. Yes, doctors say, um, all this stuff is related and it's connected, but how is it that if the person makes changes, then they don't have it? They don't end up with it. I don't. I mean,
Yeah.
that's proof enough for me.
Mhm.
But they
But
always
you
say the
never.
preventative measures, right? Preventative.
Yes,
So
yeah, that's a preventative measure. Change your lifestyle.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
Mhm.
thank you so much. We so thank you for being on our show. We will make sure that we put your information out to for your website and all of that so that our viewers can see it and get in touch with you guys for services and season stuff. So we thank you so much for joining us, and thank you the audience for joining us as well.
Thank you guys for having
Thank you
us.
for having us.
Thank you. We'll talk
Thank
soon.
Thank
you.
you. Right.
Thank you. See you guys next month.
All right.
Tune in next week, same time, same place.
Hello. Hello. Hey, you guys off the air now?
Not yet.
Dr. Scott.
Yeah. So you
Hold on.
guys,
Hold on. Hold on.